Hello and a warm welcome back to the WenDirkCast with your hosts Jimbo and Calvinator. As always, we will be discussing the latest MFL updates, transfers, developments, and so much more that has gone on over the last week or so. One important note before we kick off this episode: none of what we chat about is financial advice. Do your own scouting or hire a director of Metaverse football. The three same questions, but one slightly changed.
I was about to say 3 questions coming, but there are 3 questions.
How you doing? How you been, Calva? And what are we talking about today?
I'm doing great. Again, got a busy weekend with family and everything.
Yep.
So I feel like it's getting a bit repetitive. Just a busy summer, so not the most tuned into MFL. Of course, I still check, Twitter in general, and I catch the big things, but not the most tune in. Even with management sometimes with my teams, but later on my moment of the week. Even without being tuned in, I had some good successes. More about that in a second. But yeah, excited to talk about MFL. A lot happened. I feel like Diamond League will be fun to talk about.
Oh yeah,
a lot of things moving there. Some nice splashes, and the main topic of the week. We also thought to mix things up. I got a random YouTube recommendation about game theory. I never really learned about that, and then I started looking into it a little bit. I was like, actually, I should look way more into this because super interesting. And also it applies a lot to MFL.
It seems right up your street. Game theory seems right up your street as something like a topic for you.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, why didn't I look way more into this before? So part of because I want to learn more about it, and it's just interesting to combine it with MFL because I think a lot of the same principles apply to MFL, like game theory principles. So maybe that gives you, as a listener, also as a player of MFL, new perspectives. So more about it later, and it gives Jimbo a chance to say zero-sum game.
Yeah, we love a zero-sum game.
That's the classic Jimbo quote. MFL is a zero-sum game. So yeah, that's the main part. Later, no guests this time, but there will soon be probably a lot of amazing guests. And yeah, before we start, as always, stream time. How were your final streams of season 7?
So we did Monday and Wednesday this week. Monday and Wednesday. Monday was good. Wednesday was really, really great. We gave away a lot of players, actually. Well, kind of gave away players. So Ron John just said, I have a list of players that I'm happy to give away on 0% contracts for season 8. And it was like 4 limited players, a couple of 65-69s, 70-74s, and a 75-79. So what we did is we put them all into a wheel and we raffled off the wheel spins. So people, if they won the raffle, they won a spin of the wheel, and then whatever it landed on is what they're going to get from Ron John for season 8. But then Blades just went, oh yeah, I'll just do the same thing. So we ended up having 20 segments of this wheel. So I think it was like 8 limited players, 6 65-69, 4 70-74s, and 2 75-79. So we always talk about strength creep and some teams being a bit stacked. There might be a few occasions where there might be a 75-79 just chucked into there, but in some of those lower leagues, and we take no responsibility for that whatsoever. But it was great to see, as always, generosity from people to helping everyone. And what we all really enjoyed was having the wheel. Like having a wheel to spin and it goes round is just very, very entertaining.
Definitely, yeah. And shout out to Ron John again.
Shout out to Ron John and
very generous legend of the community. And
yeah, as ever are the community. Yeah, Ron John, Blades, and everyone else really for season 7 who's donated across the season for any streams or pack drops. But obviously on Wednesday we have season 8 pack drop, which seems kind of crazy that we're already at pre-season pack drop again.
Yeah, that's exactly. So time flies.
Yeah, but it was another great week though.
Great, amazing, good to hear that. So let's move on to the moment. Your moment. Is there a moment you would say?
Well,
apart from amazing streams and generous community members.
The Wyverns did get to the playoffs for bronze, which was exciting, but we lost both my playoff games I lost in extra time. No, one was on penalties, one was in extra time, and in both games I had a red card. I was like, oh, brilliant. You know, you just get a red card in extra time. You're like, oh, especially with the Wyverns. I was playing a 3-back and my right centre-back gets sent off. And then I was playing Rona's bottom feeder team, which I generally thought I had a really good chance of beating. And then it was a 50-50 game until the red card. Then his first attack, you know, when like the striker just picks it up and his first touch is almost like a 180 and just drills it near post from about 20 yards. I was like, oh my God. The one goal that I really hate conceding, because I don't think it's realistic at all, is the 180 on the volley first time smash into the bottom corner from 20 yards when my goalkeeper's in the perfect position, well, visually anyway, and he's got a defender right next to him. But, you know, props to who did I play in? I can't remember who I played in my second one now. In my second playoff with the Espartales. But I was happy we got into the playoffs because that was fun. But actually, moment of the week is I was invited by Ryan Walter, good friend of the pod, to be on his latest mini series of Meet the Manager, where he, bit like where we do our manager spotlights. He invites managers on, just took the MFL. So it was on Wednesday or Thursday, maybe even by Friday. He released it. Had about a good hour and 40-minute conversation with him. It was quite nice being the guest, Calva. It was nice to not have to worry about production, not have to worry about asking questions, which we know how much time that takes behind the scenes to get that all set up and figured out. So that's probably one moment of the week, was being on some other MFL content, which is always really nice. So if anyone ever wants me to be on anything, just please let me know. I'm more than happy to come and talk on anything.
Well,
I love it.
I did see a tweet. I think Big Mr. K 14, he was on with us. I think he got inspired.
Yes,
and I saw some
did
like
see
Yorkshire.
this as well.
Was it like Yorkshire tea and MFL or something?
Yeah, what was it? The Yorkshire tea.
And
there's got another part to it. Yeah,
yeah,
I did see it.
But apparently, like, it's great to see more people, you know, recording themselves chatting about MFL pretty much.
Yeah,
and a couple more podcasts.
Big Mr. K.
Things.
Yeah, Big Mr. K, Bruce, and Root Cause, I believe it is, are the three guys who are the Yorkshire Tea XP. That's it.
Yorkshire Tea and XP. Yeah. TXP, exactly. So I haven't listened to it, but great to see that. And so
I
Jimbo,
don't think they've released.
Maybe you can be also on their pod.
Well, we'll see.
You'll be on some short list, so you can have that same experience again.
I've followed them back. No, there we go. I hadn't followed them. I followed them back. I don't think they've released an episode yet, but I'm looking forward to whenever that does drop, because I always just
good luck to them if they're listening. Good luck with your pod, guys. That's great. My moment of the week is maybe a stroke of I would call it accidental genius. Just accidental genius. I call it. It's just like in the middle of the season, I had a bit of a dip with pretty much all my teams, and then sometimes I don't know if people recognize this. You get a bit impatient and you just have to change some sliders, and like, maybe this will work, you know, like, this makes more sense, or I should play more wide, or I should play more direct, or anyway, I did it with like pretty much all my teams because I was a bit frustrated. And then with my Iron team from Eindhoven, Lichtstad, I did the same.
Oh yeah.
And suddenly they just started winning everything. And then I ended second behind Funky Monkey from SR Monkey.
Oh yeah, David,
yeah. His Funky Monkey team was like way too good, so they won already 5-6 games before the end. And then it was a fierce battle for the second. I kept winning. I ended second, and I won the first second place playoff. And now I have another bronze team, kind of accidentally. I didn't even count on it. I didn't plan on it. I just changed some sliders, and I kept winning, and now I have 2 bronze teams. So I have to see how I'm gonna plan that, but that's great.
I was gonna say, because our bronze league, it was the last game of the season that you won 4-1.
Oh, I should also talk about that last match day, because that was crazy. So the situation was, the gold team was in 9th spot, and I had to win. My silver team was also could go still for straight relegation, and they needed or to be very lucky or win. In our league, I needed a win, plus other teams to mess up,
Yeah.
I think. And then that iron team also, that was already okay. And then the gold team won, silver team lost, but other teams also lost, so that was safe. Plus I won in a bronze league and also saved my ass, let's say. So it all went my way on the last match day. Plus that promotion then. So season ended very good for me.
Yeah, I was
without too much effort, without any testing. We're just
they're the nice ones.
Yeah,
we don't have to stress about, because Blades on the stream was like, he was playing you with his Barcelona Mustangs, and we're kind of joking like, does he relegate you basically? Because obviously if you lost, you were 10th and got relegated. And I think even you had to even if you lost still, I think you still would have got relegated, because obviously that's obvious, but because of goal difference, and you managed to swing it. So even if the other team had won, you still would have stayed up because of the goal difference swing you managed to hit. But I just looked at Quinny's FC Barcelona, and he came second bottom after such a great start in first half of the season. We know we always joke about, and we put our tinfoil hats on for a little bit of last week's episode and spoke about how the engine for some people feels different in the second half of the season. We know it factually, it's not different, it's the same engine, but for some people it just feels different. Quinny won his first game of the second half of the season and didn't win one again.
That's crazy.
Of the second half,
hard,
he drew 2 games and lost the remaining 8 games in the second half of the season, which must feel really frustrating to have such a great start to the season and then just fall away quite dramatically without.
But now imagine, let's say he stuck to the same tactics all the way through. I don't know if he did. We need to ask Queenie.
Yeah, we'll never know.
Let's say
he
did that. Then did he get super lucky at the start and he had a couple of wins, and he got unlucky at the end, and maybe his tactics or like his tactics were not good and he just got lucky in the first half, or it wasn't just such a close league and it all, like a coin toss and it all just went the other way. And it was a very tight league also, right? So I think he can drop very quickly with a couple of bad results, but yeah, pretty big drop suddenly. And he relegated, right? So yeah, he's in.
He finished 11th in the end, so he finished second bottom with Ali's super naturalistic coming bottom, and then NLR's Bankers Genevieve finishing in that last relegation spot.
The Content Creator League is like, we are still in there. Queenie went down and didn't. Rare Monkey was in there.
No, he was in the. He should have been. Well, but when he came down, he got taken into League 7, and he won Bronze League 7. So I believe he's now straight back up again, which is quite nice. So
yeah. So now it's just the WenDirk League.
Yeah.
The
Another 6 points now. I'm joking.
Yes. Okay, let's talk about some dev updates. Quite a lengthy one. First, about the engine. Of course, always starts with the engine. One of the most important things. Teams say they released 3 experimental engine patches, including a more representative XG calculation. I think that's very good. And some balance adjustments. Of course, you can read the full patch notes with the link in the dev updates post. And they organize an engine preview cup to gather feedback. Thank you to everyone who shared the feedback, and it's been super useful. So that's great that they're really testing it. And what's also really fun is that they announce a Best Engine Contributor awards, so multiple. So Best Engine Contributor awards next week. Curious, do you know who would you say would win that? Like top 3?
Do you want the sarcastic answer, or do you want the?
Who does the most constructive best feedback?
I feel like someone who really paid attention and always tries to give really constructive advice is probably someone like Fraj.
Yes, Fraj would.
That's someone that immediately pops to mind. But I do wonder, with that saying, the Best Engine Contributor awards is plural, so multiple.
Yeah, plural. Indeed.
But I wonder if there'll be some sort of little reward for them to almost incentivize people to try and be the next recipient of the Best Engine Contributor awards.
Maybe one of those badges, and then some MFL with it, I would be in favor of that.
They get more variance luck for season 8.
Yeah.
That's a real one.
Okay, I would be in favor of that. Let's see. Next week we know. UI improvements quite a bit. Whole list. So you can update the price of your player listings. That is very useful. So not delist
very
and
nice.
list anymore, but just update one click, depper loading, and it's done. And also official cup standings are in the same menu with your club menu.
Very nice as well.
Amazing. You can toggle between them. Easier selection for set piece takers. Very nice. And if you click on a player dot during a match, you will see some more info player model. Improved warnings when making an offer on a player already on the contract. I wonder how big they need to make this warning before people start reading it, More
people,
like alarms blazing or whatever. And the development center model improved to make the type to confirm step less confusing. You have to type the same word. Kit Maker, they had to rework some things, but it's almost finished. Pack Marketplace, final missing piece on-chain transactions has been the main focus, and they're still testing that feature too. And the Discord bot is back online. There was some issue with it. Any other comments from your side about those updates?
Love some of the UI improvements. I think the updating of price for players is really, really great. It's even though it saves a few clicks, the few clicks that it does save are such a vast amount of time. As they said, it's no longer required to delist and then list. You can just update it. Yes, you have to update it, click confirm, runs through that, but it's so much quicker. The official cup standings one is really nice, having that integrated within the club page, because it now makes it seamless for changing between the league and the cup. If you want to look at where you were in the cup group stage, you have to do like 3-4 clicks to get there. And, well, actually, no, I like an extra one from the club page, but still having it all in the same page, swapping between the two, just makes that user experience a lot tidier, which is great. And the one on there that isn't directly MFL, but it's indirectly. Shout out to Ali Coleman, who gave his MFL player info a complete overhaul during the week. It was down for a few days, and I think he knows there's been a few things with like the price valuation tool, etc. Exactly. But he's completely redone the look of it, so it's now a lot slicker and a lot nicer to use. It's more modern. He's basically spruced it up big time, which is really nice. I definitely recommend, if you've not already gone and checked out the updated version of MFL player info. So right at the top now, you can see the total players, contracted players, like they're talking about volumes here. Total sales volume, total sales, like in the history of the marketplace, the most favorited players, which is quite interesting. Most favorited players by users. Owners with the most players, and Ron John peaked over 2,000 now, so he's the first agent aside from MFL to own over 2,000 players, which is absolutely mental. But it's a very nice looking website he's done. I'm not saying the one previously wasn't, but he's just sort of upgraded it, and I think we can probably all agree that it's been around for 2 years now, year and a half.
It's finally get a little right. I mean, it's like everyone has used it. I think. And if you haven't, like, people then find out, and then after a week or two, or pretty much everyone uses it. But yeah, go check it out and buy him a coffee if you
buy a coffee,
a digital one. That's we much appreciated, I think, by Ali for this amazing tool. Then diamonds, this will be great to discuss because it was a crazy finish, some drama, also the promotion battle is very interesting to talk about. So yeah, although Meta did lose 3 games in the last 5, is that slacking, or is that like they were already,
on the beach already?
On the beach, drinking, whatever, doesn't matter. But yeah, they did lose 3 of the last 5, so you can definitely beat them. They in total lost 4 games. And then we have the rest. So Tango is the best of the rest. Great performance by Big Wilbert. 37 points, second place. Then, OM Legends. Well, what was first OM Legends? And now called Marseille Bouillabaisse in my French, best French. More about it later. Cliffhanger, 36. BFC Barcelona, 35. Naples Goldfeathers, 34. Biccione Milano, also 34. Then Dio is Amsterdam Lions, also 34. MFC Roma, 33. That's already 8th place. And then 3x 9th, gonna play the playoff tonight, 29 points. Atletico Ciudad de Mexico just didn't make it, 28 points with a great final sprint. Atletico Luchadores, we already knew they were relegated, I think, or pretty much. And Samba, we don't need to talk about them. So really crazy close finish, right?
Yeah, crazy. Just to emphasize that even more, the points difference between 8th and 2nd is 4 points. That's mental. That 4 points separates what probably is, and I've not looked at the prize distribution for MFL of Diamond League, but that's 100,000 MFL per point going up that chart, which is crazy. So, I think we got our predictions right with Meta. I don't kind of what I said for 2nd or 3rd, but I do remember saying that I believed that a team not in the top 3 would win the Titans Cup. And Bajoni Milano technically are 2 points away from 2 points away from that top 3, but they did win the Titans Cup. So congrats to them, and that means that at least 2 of my predictions came in. The boring one of Meta Mercenaries winning, and or the banker, we call that the banker, and then but I mean, no one probably could have predicted Tango. People may have been able to predict OM Legends being 3rd, but and I think that bottom 3 is kind of at least 2 of those are where we thought they would be.
Yeah, and they're both promoted sides. Atletico promoted, Luchadores promoted. So yeah, Samba, same story. So we'll see what's going to happen, but yeah, crazy close, and just that with if one drew, like let's say one goal, let's say you had a draw, one goal could have given you 2 extra points, and that could mean that instead of 7th, you are now 3rd. You know, also the MFL difference of that one goal, it's like maybe 100,000, 200,000 in MFL. You missed out by one goal, so it's super tight. And then the playoffs. So we had Sturge on last week, so we know we didn't curse him. That's good to know, guys. When
not him, but
yeah, we'll come to that, but not him though. So the WenDirkCast non-existent anymore. He promoted, so congrats to Sturge. Joga Bonito London. Again, we have a Joga Bonito in Diamond, and this is the OG. Then Los Galacticos. Sid, he promoted, he won promotion, the first spot in the other Platinum League. And yeah, they had an amazing, it was like, so you can say down to the wire, right? It was last match day, Black MFC against Los Galacticos, and Black MFC, that's a team that Sturge talked about with that deal, that he got those 3 amazing players. Galacticos won, Black MFC ended in 2nd, and then in the playoff, they lost a 2nd place playoff, and then also a 3rd, another playoff. So they stay in plat. So that's a very sad end for Black MFC.
Yeah,
maybe they should create a proper logo. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. You know, the boys were not too inspired. Just a black square. Maybe.
Yeah, it was very tough on Black MFC, but props to Sid. We watched the game on the stream on Wednesday, that Platinum game, because of how much it meant for either side, and it was great to see that. I think Sid was in the chat as well. He was on, I guess, last week's episode at MFL Ramble with the Ramble guys, and it was great to sort of, you know, put a voice and put a face to the manager, but it was also great to hear him talking about his aspirations and what he wants to do with his MFL agency, and now he's got a team in Diamond. That's really the icing on the cake, and he really has. I know he's been big with his buys, etc., and he's been quite strategic with how he's done them, but he's been progressing up the ranks really, really nicely in a really quick manner. So it's great to just hear a bit more about him from a manager point of view, rather than just, you know, Discord chat. It's quite nice to listen to that. So I would definitely recommend, folks, if you want to go learn more about Sid, MFL Rambles, that his episode they did, they had him on there. It was great.
Great, yeah. I think it's also the first American license in Diamonds, because he has New York, I think.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay, that's cool.
I think Los Galacticos, or is he from New York? But I think both, but I have to double check this. Maybe you can double check.
Sid's not from New York.
No?
No.
Or then the license might be.
I think it's just a license.
or I'm like totally lying to every one of you. We'll do a quick check, or Jimbo can do a quick check. What is also very cool is that, or interesting, both, is that Dio second team made it to Diamond.
Oh
Barca
no.
Mania. So what's gonna happen with that? That's again the rule. You cannot have two Diamond teams. So Dio probably has to, I don't know, either maybe
It's
he wants to
happening
stay
every
in Plat and
season
give it
now,
to
isn't
Black
it?
MFC. Maybe he wants to give it to Black MFC. Maybe something bowling is lucky if Dio really cares a lot about the Barca license, or he has to sell it. Let's see what Dio is going to do, but congrats to Dio for having, kind of a second team making it to Diamond. And the third place playoff, someone else we had on the show, Orange Fly,
Yep.
is a Korean team. I have no clue how to pronounce it or how it's called.
No, neither do I, mate.
But tonight they are playing against 3X in the Diamond playoff. So Orange Fly, we know he's super ambitious. He said, I want to go to Diamond. And he's now on the doorstep. And in a couple hours, 2 hours, he could be in Diamond. Let's see how it's going. Sorry to, XVIX, but I kind of hope Orange Fly makes it. Like, he
Well,
kind of
yeah,
deserves
when we
it
had Bob on
with,
and he's like, I want to win. I always want to win. I want to be in Diamond. I want to be the best. I want to be in the best league. This is Bob's chance to get there. So I really hope that for him, he wins that 3rd v 9th spot and progresses into Diamond. But it'll be a tough game, fatigue kicks in, that sort of thing. But yeah, good luck, Bob.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Good
by the
luck,
time you
indeed.
listen to this, you've made it to Diamond.
We hope you make it. And then I think that the chance of a Diamond Heist team in there are pretty slim, I think. Yeah, because Galacticos, more about them in a sec. They'll be very competitive. Orange Fly, we know he's very competitive. He's definitely not gonna Diamond Heist that. 3X has a good squad. So yeah, Joga, Bonito Sturge has an amazing squad. So it just depends what is Dio gonna do with that license, and if it falls in good hands, or if Black MFC maybe gets the spot. It's looking like no Diamond Heist next season. That is very nice.
Don't jinx it, mate. Don't jinx it. The odds are low. The odds are slim, but they're not zero, is what I'll say.
they are never zero. Diamond Heist chances are never zero. That should be a proverb. And people are like, what does this mean? Market moves. Yeah, manager of the week. I usually call this a new manager of the week. I want to give a shout out to new managers. I didn't really find anyone with a good story, but then I saw my inbox Discord, and Vanity. He sent me another message if I want to keep contributing to MFC Charity, because I loaned to Goldie last season, and I thought let's maybe talk about this project, and hopefully we can make it bigger, get more managers involved, and make the charity club a bit better and bigger. So let me talk about it. So Vanity is a manager from Belgium, and before he set up, I think 2 seasons ago, a kind of charity project, a club called MFC Charity. Managers loan him players for 0% rev share, so he earns a nice revenue on that, and then he has a separate financial kind of record for that club, and he wants to donate money that he earns with that club to charity, and actually to the Soccer Without Borders, the one we sponsored before with MFL. All right, like when was that? You remember this charity event with the Women's World Cup? I think 2 years ago or something.
Yeah, or it might have been the women's. Was it Women's World Cup? Women's Euros?
I
One of
think
the
Women's
two.
World Cup.
I think
The
it might have
Euros
been
were
the
now, so 2 years
Euros.
ago.
I thought it was
Really?
the Euros. I thought it was the 2022. No, 2020. I can't remember.
Okay.
2020.
Well,
Yeah, one of them.
anyway,
It was the Euros. I think it was the Euros because it was when England won.
No, the Euros were just now.
Yeah, but they do have like a weird.
The other Euros were then 4 years ago, or another 2 years ago.
I don't know how they.
Confusion.
Oh mate, I don't know, fella.
Okay, look it up. Anyway, MFL was partnering with the charity before we gave them, a good amount. I forgot, but anyway, bit rambling. There is a charity club, Vanity. He's doing a nice job, and the poor guy with MFC Charity. We keep being stuck in Ice League, so we need more managers on board. Give them, stack that team, get them higher, make them earn more MFL, and then we can donate more to Soccer Without Borders. That is a charity that kids in underprivileged situations can play football and have fun. So go give some money. Through MFL, through 0% contracts, not give money. You can also give money directly if you want. Help this project, and hopefully we can then donate a lot of money to that charity organization, Soccer Without Borders. Sorry for saying the S word, Jimbo. I had to.
I know. I let you off this once, but
Yes, thank you. Exception. Other market moves, rare players. I noticed the prices are dropping a bit, but then if you look more at the details, sometimes it's like exception. So, for example, I saw an 83 center mid, 22 years old. He was bought by Japes for 275. You would say that's kind of cheap. CMs are one of the most expensive positions. Having a good CM is hard to get by, also because of the stats. So I thought that's a really good deal by Japes. But then I checked the stats, and his pace is 56. Jimbo, is that a deal breaker for you if you have such a good midfielder and his pace is 56?
what do you know?
Would you then say it's still a good price, or would you then still say he paid a bit too much?
I guess it depends on the other stats, but I don't personally like a slow centre mid. But I guess you could argue at that age, maybe can progress, because if he progresses to about 65 pace, I know that's quite a bit still, but maybe that looks a bit more enticing. But if it's a midfielder in isolation, maybe not. But if he's part of a three, part of a double, it's not so bad because you can offset that with a quicker player. But if it's a player by himself, maybe that's a cause for concern. But
so we say it's an okay.
On the
it's a
fence.
good buy. It's on the fence. Your favorite spot.
Yeah.
On the fence. Then legendary players. So we talked about both managers already, Sid and Orangefly, and they are both starting to prep their new their sides. Well, their diamonds side. Although Orangefly he didn't win promotion yet, but he wants to get to diamond quickly, and they're both making some moves. So Sid, for example, he bought a 91 left winger who's 32, so he's gonna turn 33 from Madwoman for 800 USD. So it's kind of a senior splash, quite a lot of money for an old guy, but he is 91 overall. Hopefully, this retirement icon is not gonna appear. Fingers crossed for Sid. And Orangefly, he built a 93 CM, 27 years old, for 1,150 from Joby Nakamura, kind of a famous CM, one of Joby's CMs for a long time. So Orangefly is definitely getting ready if he doesn't win promotion now with those kind of players for next time. And then clubs, I saw so many clubs being sold, but that's usually with the MFL earnings included, or people buy clubs to get the MFL and then sell it again. But I also saw some location premiums, like Paris FC in Flint from Paris, sold for 150 to Niaco. And also the Bronx. So you have a license, the Bronx, Flint, sold for 140 to Delomio Management from the US. And now, time for
Splash of the week. Another big one this week, everyone. But it's not a player, it's a club. And I think last week's obviously splash with Sturge was a sale from Joe B. We had a couple of players being sold by the Frenchman. And now we're getting the club. OM Legends, OMF, or OF, as Big Mr. K called it, being sold for $3,000. A sizable purchase from Joe B to friend of the pod and appearance maker, Vogon. So a huge purchase by Vogon. Calva, you said earlier in your Diamond Roundup that he has changed the name to Marseille Boulebesi, or as the English would say it, like Boulebasi, something like that. But yeah, Vogon will be competing in Diamond next season, which is very exciting. Oh,
Well, he sent me a message. I have some intel maybe.
Oh, go on then, some alpha.
Well, he sent me a message. If I have 90 plus players for him, well, my highest one is 89. So unfortunately, I can't help him. But he said he doesn't want to diamond heist it. I just said maybe there's no diamond heist. I forgot about this situation because Vogel himself doesn't have quality guys. He doesn't want a diamond heist with this Marseille license, but he needs to sign enough good guys to make it work. So he is trying to talk to others. I told him with Magos you can put it off, but it takes a lot of work. But I think Vogon is one of the guys who can do it with his reputation in the community. He has good relations with a lot of managers. So, and if people are listening, maybe help him a little bit for this Diamond League. You know, your team, your guys can play in the Diamond League. 90 plus players. Probably he will put up a good fight for relegation with that side. So go loan your 90 plus guys to Vogon, and maybe there won't be a diamond heist situation with that Marseille license.
Yeah, very exciting times to see what happens with it.
By the way, do we know what Joe B's reason was? Was he engine frustration? Is it just like taking too much time for him to?
I don't know.
To stay competitive.
I don't know I don't know if maybe some people like Sturge might have known that answer, but just feel like maybe it's his time. His what is it? His race had run its course, or whatever that saying is, where it's like he was building track in front of him, and he had no more materials, because I think Joe's not financially constricted in any way.
I just feel like if I can, my theory is that it's just getting more and more competitive, more, you can almost say, a little bit more professional with those diamond clubs and people testing and spreadsheets and really putting loads of time in it and finding the best deals. And I just don't think Joe B, with I see always his random crypto posts and this and that, I don't think he has the time to be so managing the diamond side. And I think this season was a bit of a wake-up call, like, oh shit, like I'm now in 9th spot at 10th. I don't really test, I just play 4-4-2 with the same dudes, and it worked for a long time. And now maybe this formula is breaking, it's not working anymore, so I better just get out and maybe on a lower level run another Marseille team with less energy and just stay connected. And I think that's a bit his thoughts.
I guess it's just find it funny that or interesting, if anything, that when he almost does sell up and give up in that sense, I'm using inverted commas, it gives up, that the team then performs well. And how often do you see it when there's no pressure to, I know I'm selling up, or I know I'm changing hands, or I know I'm transferring clubs, or etc. real life, or you're changing jobs, how much does it, like, that stress just get relieved, and then suddenly you actually start performing because you've not got to worry about what am I doing next season, because that's already taken care of. So it's sad to see Joe go, to be fair, because that's always been a Diamond League club. Obviously it is now still. He's taken it in Diamond hands, he's left it in Diamond hands, but it's someone who we know has been within the community for 3+ years. So obviously, I don't think he said he'll be like officially, gone. But it's just one of those where it's you never want to see some of the OGs dropping out like that.
Yeah, I guess he'll keep in touch. What I said with like a little bit of a club. I don't fully sell up or fully, but just that top level management. That's like takes a lot of effort, and before you start relegating, you might as well, I think, better cash that if you cannot keep it up otherwise. So I think it's a good situation. Makes sense, I think, for his position. And some people are profiting, like Orange Fly with Nakamura, or we had some other big, like Sturge with that other dude. So maybe later we'll find out more. IRL MFL, I see you wrote QPR.
Yeah, I've got a great
versus
one for you. So
Coventry.
Coventry, yeah. Right. In the 69th minute, Calva, I'm going to give you the 2 XGs of this game at this specific time in the match. It's the 69th minute, or 68 minutes and 12 seconds to be precise. Coventry had an XG of 0.99, so just shy of 1. And QPR had an XG of 0.25. What do you think the score was at this current point in time?
I mean, if you say it like this, it's probably going to be high. So I think they're like 3-3.
It was 7-0 to Coventry.
What the hell?
With 0.99 XG.
Well, how can you get 7 goals out of 0.99 XG?
Yeah. You know? So overall, it ended 7-1, with the XG falling and finishing at 1.27 to 0.61, and the goal by QPR was scored in literally the last minute of the game. But yeah, less than 1 XG in 68 minutes, and they've somehow bagged 7 goals, which I think just, you see all the classic facts don't care about feelings and all of this XG nonsense. It was one of those where, a lot of them were bangers of goals, to be fair. So it's one for the engine. I was really tempted to post it in the engine, the chat, and be like, "Oh, fix the engine. 7 goals from 0.99 XG." It happens sometimes, We always like to say they do, as much as some of these things happen in the game, and maybe it's too frequent or it's not too frequent. Have you, made your mind up on that? These things do happen in real life as well.
So it was like long shots and stuff, like kind of
long shots,
low chance to go in and just all into. Yeah, that's like. But I'm curious also with the MFL XG new calculations, like what did they change exactly, and what maybe I should read patch notes. It's probably explained in that. But yeah, good to know. Like exactly real life. Sometimes real life is even crazier than the MFL engine, probably, right? That there's even more improbable stuff happening, like a 7-0 with, around 1 XG. So good story.
Yeah, I knew you like that.
I wanted to talk about NEC Nijmegen. If you know that club.
Yes, I do. They're a Dutch club. Yeah.
Or would you say
are they in the Eredivisie? No.
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
they are. So yeah, in Dutch you have to say NEC, because if you say NEC, they hate you. They're from Nijmegen. I also used to live there, and now they have a new coach, Dick. That's his first name. That's called Dick. And he has a very interesting tactic. You should all check out like the way he plays and the way he makes them play. It's like crazy attacking. It's like 3-4-3 with sometimes 6 attackers on the field. Just like 3-4 players, super high pressure. But it works out because they won their first 3 games. They're top of the league. Even more, a better goal difference than PSV, who were second.
Oh wow!
And then they had another game where the opponent went down to 10 men. They had a red card, and he even added another striker straight away. So it was like madness. So really, if you love football and tactics, check out a little bit how this guy plays and the way he sets up his team and instructs his team. It's really cool. It's a very interesting project, and I'm curious where they're gonna end with this style. A super attacking style of play. So good to check it and maybe copy that tactic into MFL and see how it works with super high line 3-4-3, a lot of attacking roles. Let's see how that would work out. Before we move on, Fantasy Premier League scored a lot of points, or what would you say is a transfer you need to make?
Oh, it seems like, Semenyo's doing pretty well for Bournemouth. City somehow lost 2-0 to Spurs, which I think most of us transferred out Van der Ven and put him on the bench because he was playing away at City. And I'm very fortunate that I think because of Palmer getting injured in the warm up against West Ham on Friday, that I'll have Van der Ven's points coming in place of him, which is quite nice. But I think Semenyo looks a pretty tidy player at the moment. We had a lot of weird results. Gyökeres kicking off his goal tally for Leeds, which is promising. Sorry for Arsenal. Sorry, against Leeds. Against Leeds. Sorry, against Leeds. Liverpool, Newcastle tonight, as you're listening to this on the Monday, the 25th. So, yeah, I think Semenyo look. I've not even got him, but Semenyo looks decent. Spurs looked all right against City. But aside from that, I've not really watched much of the Premier League games this weekend, just the highlights of them, really. But I'll watch Go on.
Yeah, I want to say the Spurs is really interesting with the new coach, who we know is a good coach. And if with that same kind of, they didn't have too many transfers, right? Like with the same kind of group, if he could perform much better, it really shows like a good manager can make a difference. So it's cool. It's
definitely
Frank that he.
Thomas Frank, yeah.
Let's see how he will do. So maybe Lucas Menio and maybe Tottenham players or Tottenham itself isn't that bad actually. So maybe get some guys there. Okay, our main topic is the game theory, and then look from an MFL perspective, or put it in the MFL context. We put like 6 famous, like concepts, or how should we call it? Concepts.
Yeah, concepts.
Of game theory, short explanation what it's about, and then just ramble in MFL, like what's it like? Does it work the same way? And could you maybe use it to your own benefit if you know a bit how it works? So the first one, I guess everyone knows the prisoner's dilemma: cooperation versus self-interest. So in game theory, if 2 players face a choice to cooperate for mutual benefit or betray for personal gain, but risk losing trust, which choices do people make in such situations? You probably know that, right? From like, if you both agree to cooperate, you get 3 points or coins. If one betrays and the other cooperates, 5. The one betrays get 5, and if you both betray each other, you have 1. So how does this work with MFL? But before we have some questions, what would you say in MFL, like this principle, cooperate or betray?
I guess
with deals,
as in it's a really good one, because I always like to say that fear and greed are the 2 emotions that run this world, and you can apply them to near enough every single decision that a human does relates to fear and greed in some way. And I feel like with a very competitive game like MFL, majority of people will probably take the fear of being the person who's not greedy, or the fear of being the person who is on the losing end of, that particular choice or that particular dilemma. I think will push people to be more greedy and have their self-interest at heart, because fundamentally MFL is a game competing against other people. So I guess you've got some edge cases where you've got like the DAOs and people who work together like that. But
don't you think? I feel like it's a bit more. I mean, in the short, probably that, like, if it's a one-time thing, right? It's always better to kind of technically screw people over, betray them, because you don't have to deal with them anymore. But with MFL, you keep playing the same game. Like, you keep making the same deals with people, or try to buy their guys, or loan their guys, or sign their guys. So having a good network with trusted managers that you cooperate with, and you have fair prices, and you make deals that benefit each other, in the long run, that makes more sense than trying to screw people over with high prices or lowball offers or 0.01 floaty offers that people accidentally accept. And then you have a short-term gain, but in the long run,
I do agree with that.
People will hate you, right?
Yeah, so the reputation, like stunt, or like damage that will cause you. Yeah. But I think in the heat of the moment, I think you'll be surprised about people that will stab you in the back. They'll stab you. But you've got to self-sacrifice something to make people aware that you are a trustworthy person that you can negotiate with. Yeah, you have
And
to
then, of
be.
course,
Yeah,
within the corporation, you can still try to get the best deal out, but like in fairness, and not that people know you're a decent manager. And we know people have lists, right? Like these kind of guys are more cooperating with me in a fair way,
Mm.
not trying to screw me over. You're on my good list, and some people have the bad list. And then you have some guys who just, embrace that reputation of always trying to screw people over, and you can deal with them. I'm not gonna mention names, but people have referred to him as a duck. But like, yeah, he's gonna, if he can screw you, he's gonna screw you. Like, okay, fair enough. Then that's that kind of guy. But in the long run, and also the way I deal with people, is that I always try to go for the cooperation, but don't sacrifice too much. Like, no, you should just know your information, know your deal before you make,
I, I-
crazy
it's.
decisions.
I think there's another way of looking at it where I always just expect the worst case scenario, the worst of a person. They always say like when you're driving, you always have to approach driving that everyone else is like the worst driver in the world, and you can never trust any drivers on the road. If you go with that mindset, I say you rarely crash. Like I've never crashed in my life, right? Touch wood. Like, I'm doing it twice because I'm OCD and superstition. I've got to touch that wood twice. So I don't crash now. I'm talking about cars, by the way, if I had people don't guess. But if you assume at the worst and don't trust anyone, then you probably got probably a better mindset to have. So then when things do go sour, when you do get burnt or you do get, you know, angry, frustrated by a deal, then you've already mentally prepared for it. But
Yeah. Well, I think for a driving context, that's great. I think for an MFL
yeah, we can't
context,
really. It's not really relatable,
if
is it?
you are negotiating, communicating, and you're super paranoid or super, that also doesn't build trust. It doesn't build someone. Like, you can better be a bit nice and a bit trusting, and then if people show the same trust, then that's how you build relationships and in your MFL network, and you keep cooperating for mutual gain. Yeah, before we move on, I also I love we of course we asked ChatGPT to create some MFL context questions. I like this one. Like, can trust actually exist in MFL markets, or is betrayal inevitable? Well, I think with such games, there's always betrayal, right? That is inevitable. But would you say there is trust in the market and we trust each other generally? Are we still a good community? That's what we usually say.
Yeah, I think there's trust in the community. I think for the most part, like 99%. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Indeed. So our advice for this is, have a nice group of people you cannot cooperate with, and for the rest, maybe as Jimbo say, or with a new people, always assume they might, betray you, try to screw you, and when you can cooperate with them, have a good group of managers, have a good list you can work with. Maybe number two, I think Jimbo, you should talk about this because it's your favorite word in the game. So maybe
Yeah.
you wanna
I'll take this one.
mention
Yeah,
it.
I love this one. The old zero sum versus positive sum games. So we know that a zero sum basically means for one person to lose, or for another person's gain, another person's loss. The stock market is a very good example of that. For you to have made money on a stock, essentially someone else has to have lost money, um, and so on and so forth. And obviously, in MFL, if you remove the result of a draw, for someone to win a game, someone has to also lose a game. But are there some situations at MFL that allow both to benefit, which obviously what positive sum is? So I think probably the most MFL related example here is probably to do with sort of like trading and transfers, right? Where we know it's very difficult when trading, I think. Well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just personalities, and in fact, I've not done trades for a long time. Ones of scale to make sure that Calvo, can both sides truly win on a trade? Do you believe it's possible? And have you experienced that?
Yeah, well, if you say super simply, let's say you in your agency, let's say we both have our bronze teams, you in your agency, you're gonna change to formation. You have this amazing striker left over. I change formation. I have an amazing left midfielder left over, and we swap. And my team gets better because I have a better striker, and you get better because you have a better left midfielder, and we both gain. Otherwise, the other player would have been useless to our team. If we see it in the super tiny context with just two teams and players left over, like then it's positive sum, right? So for trades or swaps, could work if you have caps. Also, I think the whole system of loaning is kind of positive sum. That you can loan your guys who get XP and you get ref share, and they have a player that can help them do well in the league and win more MFL. Or would you say that there's always more of a trade-off?
No, I think that's a good example of where there's a pretty good positive sum. I think what I was going to mention or want to discuss was when people are doing trades, or when you're doing a trade, Calvert, do you always try and make it 50-50, or is there part of you that always wants to try and edge out a couple of percentages? Just say, and when I mean percent, I mean just say like value or just perceptive value of that trade. Are you trying to sneakily get in a couple of extra, base points in there to try and make it your way? Because as much as a trade can be balanced and 50-50 and positive sum and etc., because of how much uniqueness and variance, the V word, there is between players, there's always going to be someone who slightly wins. Maybe that's a bit of a naive and pessimistic mindset I've got there, but I always find that someone always has a little bit of an edge. But I feel like that's trading in a nutshell, right, though, to a degree.
No, I think there's a way. Of course, both parties should feel that they got like the better deal, right? I think that's an amazing deal that they both. But that's also possible because people have different visions in this game. They have different perspectives.
Yeah.
On, let's say, with progression, with like how much you believe in progression. Some people think at 25 plus 10 they kind of stopped progressing, so they feel like, okay, I have to. He's getting a bit old. Plus, he's still progressing, so I need to trade this dude. And then some other people are like, no, I can, maybe even use him for 15 more seasons. Plus, he's still got a lot of promotion in him because I know progression is unique. And they make some deal, and they both feel they got the best out of it because one got rid of their old non-progressing player, and another got a player for still a lot of seasons that can still progress, and they both feel good. So that it's always a bit more complex with.
Yeah.
So I think you can always feel it's a bit positive sum. Depends how you view the game, but I feel like there are a lot of positive sum transactions in MFL, and the only zero sum game is what you always say is the league play. I mean, that's always zero sum.
Yeah, that's the biggest zero sum, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think with the rest with a lot of deals and transfers, and that's way more positive sum, and you can both get benefit.
Do you also think maybe progression zero sum? For someone to get like crazy plus 40, someone else has to.
Yeah,
someone else on the receiving end gets a stinky +1.
Yeah, we know kind of percentages, right? We know that there's 2% or something of crazy progressing players, and there's a big group of only 3 to 5 to 6. So yeah, if you have a couple of dudes that barely progress, someone else has one that's progressing very well. I think that's kind of zero sum. Yeah, that's someone's bad progression is someone else's amazing progression, and that's just pure luck.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's also another situation. But yeah, I think in terms of tips or like how to deal with that is, I guess, yeah, use your own knowledge to your advantage and find people who look at the game differently, and then you both have a deal that feels beneficial to you in the trade. And there's still a lot of unknown for the long term. Like, what's the best strat for keeping older players, selling them, whatever. Like, we still don't know that. So far, I think there's a lot of positive sum traits and etc. going on. More about this, or
no, I think we can move on.
Move on. more interesting things.
Love a bit
Although
of zero sum though.
Zero sum. Yeah, free signaling and bluffing. So this can get more interesting. So in the negotiation, signaling is the information you send, sometimes true, sometimes deceptive, and bluffing can force rivals, of course, into making mistakes. So bluffing, bluffing MFL? Do you feel like in trade or negotiations, or is there a lot of bluffing going on? You feel?
I think the only bluffing that I've ever done really might be like on stream when someone said, "Oh, are you going to rotate, or you know, what is your lineup going to be like?" And I've gone, "Oh, like, I think I'm rotating this game," or something like that. And I know for well I'm putting out a fully strength squad. It might be things like that where those sort of bluffs that happens quite. That's quite a rare occurrence, but that's what's an interaction that happens on stream, which I guess is a little bit. I mean, it still happen on Discord, but it's a bit different to typing it versus saying it's a bit more. It's easier to bluff, obviously, typing, but the bluff full effect is better when you're doing it in person and speaking on the stream, because typing a bluff, you can't really tell if it's a bluff or not because you don't get any emotion really through a Discord message. But I've bluffed a few times when people are like, "Oh, what are you? You know, are you going to be transferring out players or?" You know, I said before, I don't think I'm going to. I'm not sure this is really me like bluffing or signaling. I think it's just me changing my mind and being very reactive. But someone might say, "Oh, are you going to bring any more players in for the mid-season transfer window? Bring any players?" Oh, no. I don't think I'll strengthen. First day, 3 players in. Straight away, 3 players in. So I guess there's sort of those bits, which especially if those happen later on a transfer window, some other managers might get a bit like, "Oh, hang on. He's surprised us there." So I'm not sure how much bluffing can be done, maybe more signaling.
Yeah, well, don't tell everything to your opponents, right? Don't maybe share all the info. Yeah, some people also with friendlies, they turn off friendlies, that you leave people a bit in the dark. But yeah, I wonder how many mind games are going on for the chess, like saying you're playing many formations, maybe even on our pot, that people say, "Oh, I play 3-4 formations," and then actually you always stick to one. Or I never change formation, like Joe B, like 4-4-2, and then suddenly you tested out some stuff and you have like a huge edge because you do change.
Yeah,
I wonder how much that happens. I think with tactics, informations, and testing, yeah, you don't want to give away too much info. You don't want people to look into your cards.
No,
right? And that
very rarely
have a bit of-
sharing. And it's one of those where if you may share some tactical info about how you do things with someone else who you know is a good friend with a manager who you're in the same league with, if you then play up against that manager and lose, you're almost doubting yourself and going, was it because I told so and so 2 weeks ago that whenever I play this formation, I always change to that one? Have the other managers could have figured that out, but you start doubting yourself. And as always, keep your cards close to your chest and don't reveal your next move. Or even better, if you don't yourself even know your next move, that's a great one because always unpredictable.
Yeah. Definitely good. What about transfers and deals and negotiating a price?
What is
Are
in
you
like
bluffing a bit of
bluffing with
sending some signal? No, but
um
like often
no,
sometimes, for example, like, yeah, you shouldn't say with selling a player, like, yeah, I can still use this dude, I don't have to sell him. But yeah, if you want to buy him, this is the price, and I don't have a lot of wiggle room, and I don't care if I sell him or not. Or if you say I'm selling out, right? Some people say, "Oh, I'm selling out," and then the vultures come in and they start lowballing you because you have some urgency to maybe get out, or you're frustrated.
yeah, trying to get the best price
So
out of a player or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the worst thing to say is like, I'm leaving. and then,
Yeah, or like
and then
I
people
need
start
to
just,
sell him or something like that
yeah,
to
of
and that
course.
relates to real life as well. Like, I'm in the process of trying to look for a house, and when you got the real estate, employee showing you around a house, you just never reveal all your cards to them. You don't tell them that you really really like the house. You let the person feel like they're in control without actually letting them feel like they're feeling in control. You let them feel in control, but you're in full control of the situation. That's like the slyest way of doing it, and I think that's how.
So how does that translate for you to MFL context with like a deal or some bidding? Like you bid on a house or you can bid on players.
Bit of the player. I guess we haven't got that bidding aspect, but it may have. I mean, you could argue a bit like bidding a player. Like if someone wants to sell a player and a couple of people are interested in him, and you're in the DMs and talking, you'd be I'll bid 200 or like, I'll offer 200, and the other person offers 250, and you're like, no way, I'm paying that, no way. And then that other person, okay, I'm buying it for 250 or whatever, or they negotiate something. You could argue there's that piece to it, bluffing a little bit, but I feel like one of the points you've got down here, can you signal interest in the market to inflate prices on purpose? I think that's quite a hard one to do in MFL. I feel like it's
But I also feel like, for example, like Bosco saying, "Oh, I'm gonna buy all Ukrainians." Like, yeah,
oh no, true,
people are gonna
yeah.
gonna screw you over with like, I have all these Ukrainians and I'm not gonna sell them for
Like
lower.
Frage
Or
with the Italian sort of thing.
yeah, they have to pay a premium because they know
Yeah,
you've signaled
you
this
should
so
never
hard.
reveal your
Yeah,
buying method. It's like people know
yeah.
they want a Norwich license, or they want to sell a Norwich license. They can probably get about 20% more out of it selling to me than anyone else. But that's why I always show the perception that I'm never really interested in buying any more clubs, because I've always like, oh my god, find me the Norwich
Oh,
club, find me the
that's
Norwich club.
your
Yeah, but like find me
real
the
bluff.
Norwich club. Yeah, or is this a bluff in itself? Like, oh, find me the Norwich
I
club.
stick to one club.
I'll pay so much more money. Yada 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 yada. If someone goes, oh Jimbo, I've got a club like Norwich club, I'll sell it to you. Cool. I benefit way more from that than being desperate. Showing desperation is a card which you don't want to hand out. Desperation, you can be taken advantage of.
I don't know if there's any signaling of bluffing or with another transaction, but another guy, striker splash, apart from Dempsey, or not, don't mention his name.
Oh no.
The other, his partner was like a similar buy, like 400 USD for like a young striker, like 883, and he did progress to 84. But it was like 400 USD. And then after a lot of negotiation, we agreed like, okay, 400, fair price. I'll make that offer. And then he didn't accept the offer because he said, oh, but if I accept it, there's like fees being deducted and I only get
Oh
300
yeah.
this. So you need to pay 440. And I'm like, what? Dude, we agreed on this price. Like, I'm only paying 400 over,
Yeah.
That's your fault. That's your mistake. I'm not gonna play this game with you.
Yeah, that's
And then in the end, it was 400 still. So stick to your ground
go
and
buy
don't
your
signal
guns,
you want
yeah.
to do it. Yeah. Okay, that was the signaling and the bluffing. Short-term gain versus long-term strategy. I think this is a very important MFL element. So game theory often explores whether to maximize immediate payoff or sacrifice now for future advantage. So without any smaller questions, what I immediately think of is like stacking in
Yep.
this, like stacking, right? That's like a classic example. Should you stack a team, short-term gain, get that promotion straight away, although you sacrifice long-term their progression and your MFL rewards, or should you long-term, have just a squad that is just a bit better, not too much stacked, no progression sacrifices, still a decent amount of MFL. What is smart in that situation?
Such a tough question, right? I will always back the long term gain and strategies rather than trying to stack. I feel like that's a strategy in MFL that is far more sustainable, and by that I mean the long-term one. And because you can plan for certain events, if that doesn't go according to plan, and whereas if you stack and it doesn't go well, are you just mudded completely, and then you're having to bring in stronger players, and keep stacking more, and that never works out for you. Obviously, that's hypotheticals, but
well, yeah, definitely what we saw with Spark and Flint is just so many teams being stuck because they had 3 or 4 people doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And then plus then in the second place playoff you have to play another stack team, and you're still in Spark or in Flint.
Yeah, stacking
so
only
you're still being.
It feels like it only really works if you are the one standout club in that league.
Yes.
Once there's a few stackers, it then becomes really complicated and really awkward for the people who don't go up, because then all stacking really does is incentivize others to stack and try and do the same thing, I find, which then it just makes an absolute, like, you just get this one galaxy of a league in our universe that is just so different to all the other leagues that it becomes very frustrating for other managers who aren't stacking and who are playing a long-term strategy, or I guess it's all about playing within your means and everything like that, right? But
yeah, then there's also a bit about like emotions versus rational decision making, and then people like they have often their hometown club and they want to quickly get it out and they're very attached to it and they want immediate success. So they get kind of driven into stacking, and then others who are playing the long game, they also get frustrated and like, oh no, I'll never get out of all those stackers around me. But yeah, better to stay the course probably, and loan out your better guys and make more MFL, and then buy more player packs or with that MFL, and have some talents that help you get out of the season. Like if you think about it like this and plan ahead, it makes way more sense. But probably because of the emotions, you often go for the short-term gain. So be careful with that. Yeah. So should you chase quick success or invest in the long term? Rationally, of course, invest in long term. But I understand why people are doing it. I've also been stacking sometimes. I'm also a bit guilty. Yeah. Other things, or like, what are your long-term decisions that you say you do to go for that long-term success?
So you're asking about actual long-term positions, like a global all-cap index fund, or talking what are we talking here?
Long-term,
my stocks and shares account, Ethereum, my
policies, objectives. No financial advice, guys.
My top 5 classic cars for future investments. No. I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question? I've completely gone off on track with the answer and fuddled myself there.
So if people choose this road of long-term success and not getting carried away with some decision or stacking, or do you have any principles or that guide you making those decisions and go for the long term?
I always find one of the hardest ones just FOMO, which is like fear of missing out, for those who somehow don't know what FOMO stands for. In the sense of, there is such the fear of missing out on stacking and the rewards of quick success. Being disciplined and patient are 2 skills I feel like I have gained or upskilled just through playing MFL, because the patience of progression, I mean, for you with Dempsey, that must be really testing your patience and your discipline there. But yeah, the patience of progression, because I not could easily just add more players and invest more players, but you'll find that I very rarely buy players because I want to be patient and disciplined with my own set of players to see where they'll get me. I don't want to. I would much rather yo-yo between the division than go up and having to keep investing in players to sustain at a level which isn't really good enough and healthy for my long-term gain. So I think patience and discipline and being able to disconnect FOMO, which is very hard, especially in a Web3 climate, which people are finding with this old football.fun thing. I'm
really like, I see people I know and we trust.
People I know have made bank from it.
I'm like, what the hell? What the hell is this?
Fair play to people who are making bank with it. But realize some gains if you're listening and you've got bank. But yeah, always patience and discipline, I think, is some two really key skills to have with long-term strategy.
I think Vitesse in Netherlands is a good example of what not to do. And they really kind of overextended, started spending money they didn't have. They were like, we're gonna play Champions League, we're gonna do this, and now their license got revoked and they're not a professional football club anymore.
I know. It's quite sad then, isn't it, when a club goes like
that. The clubs that do have a good policy and do go for long-term success, like PSV, like Heerenveen, like Excelsior, they now signed all those transfer fee players from Vitesse that were released because they could find another club.
Yeah.
So sometimes, you can pick up the scraps, stick to the plan, and
pick up the scraps.
Some good luck will come your way.
Mm-hmm.
You profit, but it's hard. Again, the emotion, it is hard to stick to it. But of course, it makes sense. Over another one, with selling, like, is it better to sell high now or hold assets for stability later? If you see the market, or if you see, should you profit or just?
I've always had the mindset, if a player's price feels too good to be true, it's probably a decent time to sell them. And with a lot of investment thingies or anything other price on it, do you know what, when people say like top signals, you understand what I mean by that? And I always find that, like, if I'm telling you, oh my God, look how much I could sell Reynaldo Romo for, that's probably a sign that his price is probably about to peak in terms of like how the current market ecosystem is. Yeah. When you're in a position to flex, this just sounds so much about football.com here, football.fun. When you're in a position to flex unrealized gains, that's when you need to be taking profit in that sense, because it can all just...
Is this financial advice?
No, it's my opinion. It's not financial advice.
Your opinion. Okay.
But I feel that's the same with MFL, with player prices, right? And sometimes even though you might not want to take advantage of the high price, sometimes it can be better for a long term because you can reinvest in players and so on and so forth. But yeah.
No, true. So then it makes, so it can make sense to then just profit and then reinvest later. Keep it in your depot.
Yeah.
Markets are fluctuating. Okay, two more things. Coordination games. This is also pretty interesting. So these occur when players must align choices to avoid bad outcomes. So if both coordinate, everyone benefits, but misalignment leads to loss. And this is a little bit about, are there like unspoken agreements where everyone behaves in the same way for the benefit of MFL in the long run, like not tanking markets or certain other gentlemen's rules and negotiations, a bit about MFL etiquette, like keeping the community nice, keeping the game very welcoming, so we all profit from MFL growing. Do you feel like there are some unspoken agreements, or
don't offer 1 cent players, or don't offer 1 cent on player offers and floaty, because you just get absolutely hounded for it? But I feel like this is an interesting one because the topic of, subtopic of coordination games is something very much frowned upon within MFL, because if you coordinate, then that is purely against T's and C's and fair play. But I think
Yeah, I mean in the league, right? But for for MFL as a community and as a universe, as a metaverse, as a community, as a game, for the long run, the benefit, the success, then in that context, right, it can make sense to keep having a great community, keep being supportive, because
I
that will
think from
help
a
the game
community
grow
point of
and
view,
profit from it later.
yeah, the community like helping each other, shedding MFL in like a positive light, which I know we do anyway, but it's like those sort of things. Well, I think from like an unspoken agreement, we're pretty good at not I don't think we have many unspoken agreements in MFL. Does that make sense? I don't know if you have a completely different opinion on that. I don't, is in don't be a little bitch when you lose.
Yeah, I also wonder if, but there are, I guess, everyone in the end has the same incentive for MFL overall as a game, right? Is to keep supporting project, keep being nice to others, welcome others, share it, not shit on it, not trash it, not be, make it a cesspool in the Discord
Yeah,
or
yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
Twitter. And then if it grows and if more people join, we all benefit in the long run, right? Because the game gets more stable, more secure, grows, prices for certain types go up probably. So probably we try to coordinate that and help each other and share and retweet and like and tell friends and that part. And that's good. But yeah, in a league, if
In
you
the league, yeah, we don't do.
if you say I'll let you win so you can win, and that's of course against
Oi, oi,
sportsmanship in
oi.
general. Although I mean, you have it often on like tournaments, right? The European or World Cup, they both need a draw, and then often it ends magically in a
What a
boring
shock.
draw. And yeah, of course, you both have an incentive to do it, so it can make sense. But yeah, and what they say here, league battles, I don't think there's any coordination. Um, but with MFL as an ecosystem, I feel like there's like unspoken rules, but we do help each other. Like, follow, retweet, watch videos, give it a comment, give it a like.
Yeah, I think the community
These
aspect,
kind of things. Yeah,
the rules within the community, and like unspoken agreements, they're pretty good. Like the positivity and everything along those lines, about helping the game grow. I think everyone's committed and involved in that. And for the amount of players we have, we see quite a small amount of bitching. Maybe that's just because there aren't actually that many people who are bitching about the game. Maybe it's just that, you know.
yeah, and we all, I think, believe and truly believe in the game, and that's amazing. And we support it, and we feel that if more people join, it will also be good. And we trust in the future, in the long term game. Well, with football.fun, maybe if you play a coordination game of sharing those kind of tweets of look at all my unrealized gains, that does seem more like a bubble that could burst. And then is that a nice coordination
Well,
game? And you're both
as long as you're
are
in
you
and
betraying
out,
people or coordinating or kind of cooperating them? That's another debate.
as long as you're in and out,
Too.
then you know.
Yeah, maybe we should do a whole episode on football.fun. Not to not to talk about. Okay, final element, and then maybe we can have a little summary of everything. So famous thing, a Nash equilibrium in tactics. So a Nash equilibrium, very hard to pronounce, is when all players adopt a strategy where no one can gain by changing alone. So the game stabilizes. So, for example, if there's a meta where everyone uses similar tactics, because if you change that meta, you get punished. So, does that exist right now with tactics? I don't think so. Do you believe there is some kind of
No,
equilibrium tactical?
no.
No, I feel like there are a lot of different winning tactics and options, right?
Yeah.
There's not one formation right now. I feel like everyone says you have to play in a formation or style of play, which is good. That makes a game way more fun.
Yeah, I don't think that we have one meta or one particular strategy that beats everything. And then if you don't play that, you're missing out and you're not. And that just makes the game inherently boring and dire and turgid and all other synonyms that match those three that I've just said. But yeah, I wouldn't like there to be a meta. I hope there never becomes like a strong one. And even when there has been, some has been changed each season because metas have catered towards engine deficiencies, we'll call it, where it's like exploitation rather than a supreme tactic. I guess it depends on what you want to call meta and how you define that, but
I would say, yeah, it's a bit more like chess, right? You know, there's different openings you can do. There's different things you can do in the middle of the game and the end game. There's a couple of things you can do, and there's no one thing that always works. It also depends on your opponent, how they play, and then how you adapt to that. So MFL is so complicated already. Although some people want it even more complicated, but in terms of choices you can make, tactics, dealing with real managers who also make decisions. So I don't, yeah, it's good that it doesn't exist. That we all do the same thing, and then it gets boring, right?
yeah. We don't
So
want
we don't have
want a
to,
boring game. We want a fun game, right? That's the last thing we want.
yeah. So we don't have to break out of it to gain advantage, and it's still quite unpredictable. But maybe, yeah, there is a risk of, I don't know, Jimbo. We can speculate about that. Like there is maybe a more stable engine version that barely changes. That we say this is a great engine. This simulates great games based on IRL football, and then we keep using this engine. Could there be something emerging that seems like a meta? That seems like,
Potentially, we'll gravitate towards something that could possibly be a meta, and I guess you could argue that progression in players, retirement in players, each player being unique, manager becoming inactive, XYZ reason. Although some of those reasons enable like a drop in and drop out of potential meta strategies where they aren't. It could be like seasons over. It could be span over seasons that they're effective for, but I think they won't be effective forever if there was eventually a meta that was found, which is a nice thought. But I guess it's how you'd potentially rotate into a meta if you're left stranding and can't. You can't play a 3-4-2-1 because you've got no centre forwards. Suddenly, centre forwards become the.
I remember
Yeah.
one of the first tournaments in the app. I forgot the name of that tournament with the pace as the meta. Just
Oh
having the
yeah,
highest pace, very pacey boys in there. I think I even won that tournament. We were just having crazy pace boys up front. Even though they were total shit, they were like 40.
Yeah.
But it worked. So yeah, and that's boring, Just you're not gonna buy then all the highest pace guys to win. All right, what's the conclusion? Let's say if you would take some game theory concepts and apply to MFL, what are the biggest tips for people?
I'm the worst person that you could have asked for this.
I liked what you said with like negotiations. Assume everyone try to
Assume
betray
everyone's
you,
a nut
and
job and never trust them. Assume
well, just
everyone.
be skeptical enough. Although you need to build your network and you need to be a bit trustworthy with that,
Yeah.
and make deals and for the long term, like if you talk long term, you need to cooperate and have a good group of guys you can work with and trust on, and then you can mutually benefit from that. I think that's clear.
I think it's me as a chronic overthinker that I basically, whatever scenario I'm in or about to be in, whether that's in a couple of hours, a couple of days, a couple of weeks, a couple of years, I will always assume the worst possible scenario and the worst outcome so I can plan for that. So if that ever does, God forbid, actually happen, I'm prepared for it. Chance favors are prepared. I love that saying.
So do you have a basement with cans.
Not yet. Not
Food,
yet. No.
You're a prepper.
No, of course I'm not a prepper.
A bunker
No,
in
but
your new house.
just I don't want to jinx
Okay.
anything on here, but like,
Okay.
hopefully, or kind of outside of the pod, hopefully, me and my girlfriend will be reserving a house tomorrow. Hopefully, and she's all getting excited. I'm like, until we reserve it, I'm not getting excited. I just refuse to be excited. She's like, show some emotion. I'm like, no, I'm not showing any emotion until we've reserved it, and then we can get the ball rolling. Because the worst case scenario is that we go and they go, oh, sorry, no, someone's already taken it. So I've already accepted that. Basically, we accepted that we're not getting it, even though I kind of know we are, that we're not getting it. So then when it does, I can be like, fucking come on. Maybe it's a bit too cynical. I'm a chronic overthinker, though, and a big social anxiety guy. But yeah.
Yeah. So you're more trust everyone, but yeah, worst outcome.
I don't trust everyone, but those I do trust, I trust a lot. That's how I look at it.
I think that is the best tip, is that you have a good group of guys that you can trust, other managers, and you can mutually benefit from the loans and the trades and transfers. I think that's obvious, crystal clear. The other reason, long term always wins. We said with short term, with like stacking or like getting some crazy transfers in, spending a lot of money to get some gains in the long run, probably, yeah, it's not gonna be sustainable or work. And what's another third lesson? Oh yeah, we should all coordinate to make MFL great and keep helping each other.
Keep doing what you're doing, folks. Keep doing what you're doing.
And because we believe in the product, and we know the MFL team is also cooperating with us to make an amazing game.
Bosh.
Right.
I think we need a hashtag here, Calva. Right, ladies and gentlemen, this week's hashtag. This week's hashtag, Calva wants quite a cynical one, so we're rocking with this one. He wants people to expose themselves potentially in either Discord or Twitter, wherever you post our amazing hashtags. So thank you to all of you who do. And a big congrats to Risu, who won the uncommon reward pack from the 100th episode wheel spin hashtag, which he'll be receiving after rollover day, because everything's just shut right now. Shut. We don't play as aging. So this week's hashtag, as always, we like giving you a choice. Hashtag betray or hashtag cooperate. Which are you? Maybe you'll bluff. Maybe you are a betrayer, but you're going to put cooperate. Have we, Calva, made a mistake with this hashtag by allowing people to bluff and be demons and menaces and not say who they truly are? We'll see.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's good to indeed say cooperate, so people think you're always cooperating. That's, from a game theory point of view, probably the smartest thing to put in the chat as a hashtag. But maybe some people will say betray.
You never know. So, hashtag betray, hashtag cooperate. We'll see you all on Wednesday for the Season 8 pre-season pack drop stream, which, Calva, you are making a return to the...
I am there. Yeah, I am there.
2 weeks out, baby, but he's coming back for this one. 4 weeks out, 6 weeks out, 6 weeks out. 9 weeks, technically, no? 6 weeks?
Yeah, the past 2.
No, 6 weeks.
3, 2.
It's 6 weeks, isn't it? Because it's every 3 weeks. So 0, 3, 6, yeah. 6 weeks out. Calva will be there. We'll have prizes. We'll have quiz. We'll have players. We'll have clubs to give away. All that juicy stuff. So we'll see you on Wednesday. Congrats to those who got promoted. Commiserations, well, I guess, and congratulations if you're playoff final and how that went. But we'll see you on Wednesday for the pack drop stream. If not, thank you very much for listening, and we'll catch you this time next week for an episode of the WenDirkCast. Thank you for listening.